Disclaimer. This is educational purpose video only. I didn't harm anyone. I used my own device during explain of this method, so please don't use this method any kind of illegal or malicious activities. Because hacking is crime. If you do this, then it can land you in jail. I'm not support any kind of illegal or malicious hacking.
Look like more realistic, more convincing to the victim user. Right now we have our image embedded in this file, but it has an exe extension and it doesn't have an icon. Okay, so it shows a black icon in here and we don't want that. So I'm going to delete this and I'm going to go over to my Kali Linux machine in order to show you how to embed icon files also in the fake image exploiter, and then in the next lecture we're going to discuss how to change extensions as well. So first I need an icon, okay, and I'm going to convert my image to an icon file, and in order to do that we have a lot of free online tools. If you go to Google and say make icon from JPEG online free, okay, it will show you a lot of results, and I've tested a lot of these results and every one seems to be working, so you can easily find one to create an icon file. So just click one of this file, and as you can see I'm using imageonlineconvert.com. Later on I will use another ones in another sections, and I'm going to use a JPEG, and which is my only JPEG actually, and this website will convert this JPEG to be an icon file. So I can use this icon file and embed it on my newly created backdoor. And I believe this is now processing, yes, and as you can see now it's done. Once it's done, it will save an icon file on my computer. So extension should be ICO, okay. So let me go to my downloads folder, and as you can see it looks exactly like my image, but it's not a JPEG file, it's rather an icon. So as you might remember, Windows actually shows users the representation of the JPEG in an icon. So it needs to be same way in our case as well. So I'm going to run fake image exploiter, but first I need to go to opt and then fake image exploiter so that I can run bash fake image exploiter.sh command. And I will do the same things that we have done in the previous lecture. So it isn't different, but we are now going to introduce our newly created icon file as well. So I'm going to say OK to this, and then say yeah, execute the framework for me, and it will ask me to choose the payload. Now I'm going to choose the same payload before, so let me go to var, let me go to my Apache webroot and choose this James payload. And then later on we need an image, so choose the JPEG, not the icon, but this time you can choose the icon. Okay, say input your own icon, and it will ask you to choose your icon, and then go to downloads and choose it as well. So our test 2 is going to be created once I hit OK. So now it will combine three things: my backdoor, my image, and my icon, so it would be more convincing to the victim user. And I think in a minute it will ask me to give my alt port and alt host, yeah. So I'm going to give it as usual 10.02.50, 8080, and Windows Meterpreter reverse HTTP. So it would start my payload multi-handler. And of course, you don't have to do this within Fake Image Exploiter. You can just close this down and open Metasploit framework and start listening from there as well. But it is kind enough for you to start the listener, so we would better use it. And as you can see, we have test2.zip in here. So right now I'm going to switch to my VirtualBox to my Windows machine, and I'm going to try and download my newly created backdoor. So right now, rather than test1, I'm going to say test2.zip and save this file. And I believe we don't even need to run this file because we have tested it, but we should see how it looks like. Okay, so let me unzip this file. Okay, say extract here, and then later on let me see how it looks like. Yeah, now it is clear, we can see the icon, but let me just change this view from here to large icons, and now we can clearly see that our icon is in place. However, we still have some issues like this extension in here. So the extension is still exe, and we're going to see how to change it in the next lecture. But even though we change it, the user might not double click and run this if they get suspicious. I know there is always this risk. I know this is not guaranteed, but in social engineering, we are trying to increase the chance of running this. Okay, so we are trying to decrease the suspicion by making these adjustments. If they decrease the risk of suspicion, then we are